Hello and welcome to Piano Lessons Boulder. I'm Sarah Hager. Today we will look at an exquisite little miniature by Schubert called Mucical, or a musical moment. Schubert was the first lyric romantic composer, the first truly romantic composer. The romantic movement in music begins with Schubert. Beethoven, up until Beethoven, it was the classical period. Beethoven was a classical. He wrote sonatas, concertos, symphonies, whereas the Romantics invented new forms, unlike the great, complex classical forms that were governed by rules of form. The Romantics wrote things like songs without words, a musical moment, impromptu, waltz, scherzo, ballad, and free forms, so to speak. And Schubert has written a few moments musicaux, musical moments, and this is the most well-known, the most popular. I am going to play a slightly simplified version because it is a pleasure to teach, and it's a pleasure for intermediate level students to play. The original is in F minor, so this version is in G minor, so two less flats for the student to read. And in places where Schubert wrote in double thirds or double sixths, like, so he wrote, and other than that, it's essentially the same music and the same piece, and it's, I think, as far as a slightly simplified version goes, this one is indeed great. So before we do a brief tutorial on it, I'd just like to play it to you. There we are. Now for the brief tutorial. So the accompaniment is like the ticking of a small clock, a mantelpiece clock, for instance. And that is what holds the whole piece together gives it unity. Of course, this is exquisite from the moment it starts. But when you come to measure 7, it is so beautiful, this modulation, that you can make it a little more expressive. I wish I were playing on a grand piano with a much more sustaining treble. This instrument, as you know, has no ability to sustain in the treble. Why do I play on it? Because if you live in an apartment building, then you really can't practice if you are going to practice on a grand piano. So necessity knows no law, and this is better than having nothing. Just in case you were always wondering why I was playing on a digital piano, it has its uses. And if you want to do spot practice, repeat a passage over and over, or practice at 3 o'clock in the morning, you can still do so with headphones. Nobody will know. Even the person in the next room in the same apartment will not know that you're playing. Now, when it goes into B flat major in the second section, have another color. Another touch. Don't just think in terms of piano or mezzo piano or mezzo forte, but think in terms of a different color. Now, when we come to the third section, that's the only place in the whole piece where there's a forte. So yes, don't hesitate to play forte. Play forte. And in measure 23, you have, there you have a counter melody, a chromatic rise in the bass, bring it out, a chromatic ascent. And then when you, after that, you, once again, now release the tension, and this exquisite little thing comes back. Now the coda begins at measure 35. Once again. Minor. Now major. So when it goes into the major again, once again, release the tension. And last but not the least, you know, when you come to so la 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 la, but now when it comes back, this exquisite chord, feel it and pedal on it. So it is very difficult to bring a thing out subtly. If there's a strong accent on it, like in a Beethoven sonata, it is easier to do than when you want to create a very subtle effect. So Schubert, in his short life of 32 years, wrote a vast amount of music, and a very large portion of it for the piano, and this is one of his great gems. So I hope you will enjoy playing this piece. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time.